Waders are the birds which are found at the interface of water and land. They are neither purely aquatic nor purely terrestrial. They travel thousands of kilometers to escape from harsh winter during which they cannot find food. So they visit different locations in the tropics and subtropics. Identifying waders is not an easy task. One has to get well acquainted with the field work and field identification of these birds because they have different plumages. Some have breeding plumage, some have non-breeding plumage. In some species there are differences between male and female and juvenile. Okay, so here is the book which has been recently published by Harkirat Singh Sangha. It is the Waders of the Indian Subcontinent. So this is the jacket of the book. You can see front page, waders are illustrated here, even on the jacket and on the back side. Okay, so let's go through the book. By the way, this book has been sponsored by WWF. Okay, when you open the book, you'll see the pages are bit glossy, so printing is literally seems like flawless. There is no issue. The author claims that the book was intended to be completed within 5 or 6 years, but it took around 15 years, and it is really worth. When you go through the book, 15 years is fully justified. Okay, so you can see the photograph, amazing photograph. Okay, so the book starts with about the waders. Everything about the waders has been given. The topography of the wader is given. If a newcomer is there, new person, new bird watcher is there, he or she should know what to look for, which are the area are called, body parts are called by what name, and of course during the flight close up. And also author gives about the nomenclature of the the words which have been used, like juvenile, first winter, second winter, whatever. So that has been given, and in comparison with the other systems followed in the world. So you should not get boggled. This author says something and this author says something. So the comparison has been already given over here. Okay. So, and this is the geographical range of the book, which covers the India and neighboring countries. So South and Southeast Asia has been covered. Okay, so initially there are some representative drawings, very quite old drawings by Hodgson's and all that, more than 100 years ago. Okay, so then of course this cannot be escaped, the migration of waders. So all details about the migrations, like these flyways and everything has been given. Okay, so what do you mean by vagrant or rare birds and everything. Then beautiful part is wader habitats are illustrated with the photographs. Okay, so all the habitat shots are there, habitat photographs are there, and along with that the wetlands or the areas where the waders are found have been described country wise. Okay, so some specific names, specific hotspot in particular area have also been mentioned over here. Okay, so and photographs are there, you can see. So what do you mean by a marshland or high altitude lake or whatever, so everything is given. Okay, when you move ahead, of course there is how to use the book is also there, which is required. There are 22 plates. Okay, so let's see the plate. When you open the plate, you will see the bird has been illustrated nicely with all the forms which are found during the life of that bird. So juvenile, adult breeding, adult non-breeding, male, female, if differences are there. So like this, as per the author, the plates were costly. So he got some sponsorship for the plates. So the sponsor name has been given at the base of the plate. Okay, here you can see the text where details of these birds, it's not all details, the identifying features or the field characters are given along with the scientific name and size. Okay, so these are the plates have come really beautiful, but as per me, probably the white background would have been better to show the beautiful colors of these birds, because probably because of this light buff color background, the plates appear little dull and the paintings appear to be little blur. They are actually not. but they appear blur, like photograph of a low resolution camera. But I mean, that is not a big flaw to say. And the characters what we are talking of here, they are pointed with some pointers with the lines. Okay, so 22 plates of around 83 species are covered, around 500, more than 500, around 540 paintings are there. Okay, so amazingly this thing described colors you can see over here. Okay, when you move ahead, now you can see here, this is a white background, you can see the bird fairly nicely. Okay, now this is the major part of the book, and it is really worth, I'll just open the page and you can see. Okay, so here you can see the best part of the book is the photograph. Earlier books, they talk about waders with lots and lots of drawings, and many of them, they are based on the museum specimens. But here you can see why particular species is called so, how to identify with the help of the photograph. Okay, so let's see, this is a grape lover. Okay, now the another flaw which I found is, you see a grape lover description starting on this page, but this bird is not a grape lover. Okay, the name given is on the top, and this bird is Pacific golden plover. Of course, there is no absolute no complaint about photograph, you can see, but the thing is, when you read this name, probably you will try to correlate with the bird over here, but this is the preceding species. Okay, that could have been changed little bit, but probably, I mean, that is fine. Okay, so you can see there are around more than 400 photographs, 450 photographs in this book. So when you see this photograph, adult, molting to non-breeding, so details of its status has been given, this thing, and then how to identify what are the features in this particular photograph, when and where was taken, and by whom. So all credits are given, photographer name is also given with date and place. Okay, amazing work. Okay, so when you see the species description over here, so it starts with, of course, there is a corresponding plate which has been given, scientific name, local names if at all, then alternative names if any. Then the best part for me this book is the taxonomy. The holotype has been mentioned. Holotype is the specimen from which the species is described, the single individual from which the species is described. For example, this is a grape lover described by Linnaeus in 1758 from Sweden. Now grape lover is found in India during breeding season, winter season, but from where it was first described, it is from Sweden. So for all the birds, waders that has been described, here is a beautiful distributional map given with color coding for wintering area, breeding area, vagrant area, and everything is there, so that you can find in how to use this book. Okay, so you can see beautiful photographs. It's really worth of 15 years of work, and so many photographers have contributed in this, and just lesser sandflower, just look at this. You can, even by looking at this, you can identify the bird. Okay, of course this book is may not be called as a field guide, it is a real reference book because it is quite heavy. It is probably more than a kilogram, and to take it to the field might be little bit heavy because you are carrying binocular and camera, so it might be little bit heavy, but anyway, that is fine. I mean, you should, there is this is the only kind of book probably which I have come across on Indian birds, Indian waders. They are not Indian, but which come to India. Of course, some of them, they are resident here, but you can see in the photograph as well how to identify in the flight when it is standing. Okay, so amazing book. So many photographs here you can see. Family wise they are described, and at the end A to Z bibliography or the references which have been cited have been given, that tells about the authority of this author. By going through the book, you will understand that author has really gone through all these references, and at the end you will see details of the author, printers, etc. Okay, so for this maybe a kilogram or over book, binding I feel probably little bit delicate, might have been, maybe in the next edition they can look after. And the price is fairly reasonable. It is around 3500, but it is worth, I mean, it is quite cheap for the content you get. Really, it is a collector's copy, Vaders of the Indian Subcontinent by Harkirat Singh Sangha.